you can hear that we're getting down memory lane, that those were moments. And really masiku yaja president. And today, we are seated before you, Mr. President, not as Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia. Mr. President, you know, where I come from in Eastern Province, you say, Chimwemwe chapasulasai, meaning the excitement is really just gone overboard because of what we have witnessed in this country today. We honor God for what has happened in this country, Mr. President. So these are your young men and women, Mr. President, who have come to have a conversation with you today. And we are very honored to have them in our midst. Straight away, Mr. President, they have made a presentation. I'll give an opportunity to their leader to make that presentation before the President. Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kent Singoi, the UPND Music Unity Chairperson. First of all, let me recognize the presence of the 7th Zambian Republican President, His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema, aka Bari, aka the economic freedom fighter. I prefer to go with my scripted script, the speech, so that I become brief, concise, and on point in my articulation. So my alpha, my genesis is as follows. Your Excellency, we express our heartfelt gratitude for granting us this opportunity to have a conversation with you. Mr. President, there are crucial points we wish to discuss. We wish to congratulate you, Mr. President, for winning the 2021 general elections. Mr. President, your remarkable achievements within 2 years, such as the introduction of free education, CDF implementation, recruitment drives for teachers and nurses, NAPSA partial withdrawal, student allowances, and championing freedom for all Zambians, deserves acknowledgement. As musicians aligned with your cause, we aim to create songs celebrating your accomplishments and educating Zambians about your initiatives. Your government's milestone in debt restructuring within a brief period of 2 years is commendable. We aspire to translate and convey its significance in all our local languages through songs to facilitate public understanding. This will enable the public and the country at large to appreciate and understand what this really means to the people of this great nation. Mr. President, our presence here signifies the role we play in society as information carriers. Mr. President, people will remain stagnant and unaware of what is going on if there is no information. As UPND musicians, we are ready to diversify our livelihoods beyond music, such as to be engaged in farming, carpentry, and other social skills. We believe, Mr. President, that the development of this country will solely depend on the efforts from the youths. Your Excellency, as collective youthful individuals, we possess diverse skill sets. With appropriate empowerment, we can significantly contribute to our country's growth. This platform marks our final resort to ensure every youth in this country has something to offer. In conclusion, Mr. President, Your Excellency, we stand before you not only as musicians, but as young citizens eager to contribute to the development of our nation. We appeal to your support and guidance to overcome the challenges hindering our creative potential livelihoods. Empowering us will not only enhance our capabilities, but also enable us to play a more significant role in advocating for the ideals and accomplishments of our country. Mr. President, we remain indebted to you for this opportunity of meeting you today at State House. Na tumanyimbo mwaona naona tawa ni musician person. Yeah, we love you. Blessed festive season, Mr. President, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's a speech, short, brief, and to the point. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. From there on, Mr. President, will allow the Minister of Small and Medium Enterprises Development, Honorable Elias Mwanga, to give his remarks.
Thank you, Mr. President, and it's a great moment just to see all of us here, and especially your children, coming from all over this country. You know, when they were singing, I could remember the songs, what we really went through, what happened to all of us. And, you know, this is a reality now. Your dedication, first and foremost, Mr. President, I want to thank all of them for what you did for this country. Because of your dedication, this country, there is now peace. There is no any more tear gassing. There is no more pangas in this country. At times, emotions would want to come, you know, what we really went through. Yeah, we really appreciate you. On behalf of, I think, my fellow ministers who may not be here, we really appreciate all of you here. I also would like to say thank you, Mr. President, for giving us this opportunity to come before you, first as your children, when we are in opposition, and to have a chat with your children, the artists. I also want to say thank you for allowing me particularly to be here and to present some of the opportunities that your children, who are the artists, may, you know, have an opportunity to take part. You created the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise Development. You are a visionary man. When you created it, Mr. President, everyone was extremely excited. And I would just want to say, being a new ministry in the first year, it was a little bit difficult for us. And most of you really wanted to rush for the empowerment funds, for the opportunities. But, you know, to try and put the new ministry together and to see programs start running at times takes time. But this is a very brilliant idea from the president to create a ministry dedicated for the youths, those with businesses, those with ideas, innovations, so that their dreams would grow. The Minister of SME, Mr. President, is for the all Zambians, first and foremost, and for the youths and women. and it's for us in here. You who are here, it's for you to get opportunities. And for those who are into businesses, those who are intending to get into businesses, this ministry is for you. Next year, we have a program for all of you. When I say all of you, for all Zambians, but you are before the president. So I'm addressing you. We want to help in shaping up your projects, your businesses as a ministry. Through your chairman, who has been to my office, I think several times, we have discussed. But I want to say before you, chairman, the time that you had come, you came a little bit late because the applications had already been submitted. So we had to, send you for unsolicited applications. But beginning 2024, we would want you to come with those innovations and business proposals because you like representing everyone. But it's open to all of you. You don't have to seem like you are being left behind. Please come through your chairman and bring up your ideas, your business proposals. Mr. President, I'm very happy to hear that they would want to venture into businesses like agriculture, carpentry. I'm happy to hear that because in the ministry we do have products for those who wants to get into that. And I would want to appeal that early next year, which is just in a few weeks' time, through my office, and I'm happy that PS is with me, we will definitely look into what products that will target those with business proposals. Agriculture. Now this is just to say to everyone, it may not be specific to my ministry. The government has emphasized that agriculture is one of our priorities. And agriculture for all of us, we can venture into it. And even now we do have funds. We do have funds. The government created a fund for these who are into agricultural activities. Even now, I think some few weeks ago, our youths came to my office and I referred them who wanted to get into agriculture, farming. I referred to our DC, and I'm happy she's here. Referred those youths who came to get some loans. Even as we sit here, if you're thinking of going into even some small-scale farming, there is this window which is opened up for you. Chat with the PSs who are here, the Lusaka minister is here, the DC is here. You'll be guided where you can get applications and get into this. It's easy to get into agriculture. Even carpentry, as you mentioned. I said it, Mr. President, that 2024, we've opened up windows to help our people. These are our people. But we also want to reiterate and say, at times you may not really get what you want because of maybe the way you've presented your business proposal. Come and have a chat one-on-one. I know, I will say it, we have the Citizen Economic Empowerment Commission. But I want to say it before the President that most of our youths, they've said it's a failed project. It's a scam. That's what has been coming out. I think it's important to be very specific. CEC is not a failed project. The Zambians, our people in Zambia, they've benefited and therefore continues to benefit from Citizen Economic Empowerment Commission. I've talked to peers that we should come up with a product that will fit into what our people want to do. But you also need to look at what are we offering. Then we come, we chat. This is your empowerment. It's not for me, the minister. It's for you and for every Zambian. We would want to see you grow in your businesses. You talked, you would want to get into something else, which is agriculture, carpentry, or any other. We here with our open hands to try and help you. We will try and build capacity, help you, meaning understand how to run a business as a ministry. After that, we'll help you to come up with a viable, project, and from there you can have access to financing. So that's what we're doing in the ministry. So through the chairman, as I conclude, through the chairman, we've opened up. Come next year, have a chat with your team and bring some of the resolutions, what you would want, from the Minister of SME. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister of Small and Medium Enterprises. This juncture, before we go to the Minister of Sports, Ministry of Youth, Sports and Arts, we'll ask the PS from Small and Medium Enterprise if there's anything you would augment your minister, you are free to do so.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. To you, the artists, the youths here, I'm happy that the Minister has mentioned that this ministry was created specifically to empower the citizens. And our mandate is to ensure that even as we empower you, you grow and you develop. We need to handhold you. What I just want to emphasize on is that even as you bring your applications or your business proposals, please be ready to follow the process and be patient. So when you give us your business proposals, you must also be ready to undergo capacity building, like he said, which may take even a month. You should be ready to undergo some skill training according to what you are applying for. You must be ready to undergo financial literacy, because we don't want you to fail when we give you the money. So please, you are welcome. The Minister has already mentioned it. We operate on an open door policy. Anytime you can come through. If you failed to do your business proposal, the ministry has a department which is called Business Development and Grants, who will be able to help you to do the proposals. That is your ministry. Anytime. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much, PS. I will request the Minister of Youth and Sports and Culture and Arts to make their presentation.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. Mr. President, ours is a very small presentation. Your Minister, Honorable Elvis Nkandu, had a meeting with our artists earlier this year. And from the deliberations, sir, we can clearly say that your artists are ready. You have given us a policy of no discrimination. You've given us a policy of no cadreism in this government. Sir, this policy must not also discriminate our youths who are here today, perhaps because they are EPND. When we had that meeting, the young people who are here said, yes, we are artists. Some of them said we are ready to roll our sleeves and give us jobs. I'm glad to say that, sir, on merit, through the HRA process, some of them have started working. We have one solid boy there. We've got JR there, who are now civil servants, and many others. We've got Akasha there. Please stand. With her, sir, when she came, we asked her one question. We said, are you willing to cut that pink hair and join the civil service? She says, I'll cut it, I'm coming tomorrow. Sir, she will mop the floors, she will wash the dishes and do anything. Our NAC unit who said, look, we are famous musicians, but even in Sanfia, we can be interns at the Youth Resource Center because we have the necessary qualifications. That has been granted to them, sir. Oga family is working with the Ministry of Defense and ZNS, and they are going around with the band. The Clefforts and the Pentagons, and many others here are now the new suppliers in some of the government institutions. So this can only be done through a multi-sectoral approach with the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Arts, with SME, with local government. Your children, sir, are saying, give us the tools and we'll get the job done. They're not coming to the ministry with a begging bowl. They're not coming to the ministry asking for empowerment that they do not deserve. They're saying we're Zambians, we're citizens of this country, we are qualified, and whatever we're qualified for, we will do and we will work. Submit, sir.
Just a minute. The other PS, you want to say something?
I would want to speak as an artist, but also speak as a PS. One of the challenges that I faced as an artist was accessing financing for the artistic work. And so one of the things that we've been able to do with an agreement with NAPSA is through the extension of the social coverage allows individual artists like our colleagues to get financing, to access financing through their NAPSA subscription, where they can get a loan to finance their artistic work. That is very big because when some of us were producing art, our biggest challenge was to get financing to make a music video, financing to go and record a song. As we speak today, that is sorted out. An artist who is a member of NAPSA today is entitled to get a loan. In the event that, for female artists, in the event that they got pregnant and they cannot perform and earn a living, this coverage by NAPSA entitles a female artist to a support of 3 months maternity support. In the event that our artists today were to experience what we had experienced under COVID, where they cannot perform because of circumstances beyond our control, this particular coverage entitles each member artist to 3 months support from the same coverage. I speak to artists every day, and old and young. Most of the old artists today are complaining because they feel they've not done anything economically. What this agreement with NAPSA has done is that each artist now can subscribe and be entitled to a pension. And I'm sure in the next 20 years we'll be seeing artists withdrawing their 20% from their work as artists. So, sir, we, as a ministry, we are committed to supporting and working with the artists, and we do appeal that there's going to be enough support from other government ministries and agencies as we respond to the challenges and circumstances that our artists find themselves in. Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. President, I'll be failing in my duties if I don't recognize the presence of the PS administration for local government. PS, local government, are you there? Yes, you may introduce yourself and say a word or two. Kwani ku ministry na kweve kulima facilities ya bili.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies. Good afternoon, Your Excellency. Good afternoon to the musicians or youths. My name is Mambo Hamaundu. I'm Permanent Secretary in charge of administration at the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. And as for our ministry, we present a number of opportunities. I was listening carefully here, the aspects of loans, which most of our young entrepreneurs want to have access to. Through our ministry under the Constituency Development Fund, we have loans of up to 200,000, which are available at 5% simple interest. I know that for 2022 and 2023, we had an overload in terms of applications, but now the people who had borrowed money, some of them have begun to pay, so opportunities are still there. In the year 2024, the CDF, as you may be aware, has been increased to 30.6 million, and in there, 20% of it will be available for empowerment. That means we'll probably have around 3.8, 3.9 extra going in per constituency. So there's a big opportunity there for those of you who are enterprising, who are upstarts, to go in and get a loan. There's no collateral required. If you're investing in equipment, the piece of equipment is what will be used as collateral. And really just to underpin a point, it's 5% simple interest, so which means if you borrow up to the maximum, which is 200,000 kwacha, the interest per annum will be a 10,000 kwacha. And that is cheap money, very cheap. So my appeal would be that let us utilize these opportunities. I know we receive quite a number of youths, Your Excellency, at our office who indicate to say they're having challenges accessing these loans. But when we probe a bit further, some of them may not have even attempted to put in that application. So let's put in the application so that we stand a chance to have access to these loans. Secondly, we also have under the CDF the bursary scheme for skills development for those who want to be trained in a particular skill. That resource too is available, and so far a number of young people have been trained, and the opportunity will still exist as we get into 2024. We also have opportunities where some of you who are business people and may be engaged in construction, there's a component where there are subcontractors, the 20% which is reserved for Zambians. There too, there's an opportunity for some of you to get involved in there and earn a livelihood for yourselves. So, Your Excellency, I thought that I just put that into perspective and really just mention to our young people to say opportunities are available. If you are not given an opportunity in 2022 and 2023, you still stand a chance to be given an opportunity in 2024. And once you're given that opportunity, remember that you are borrowing money so that you grow your business and you pay it back so that the next person also can have this opportunity. I thank you, Excellency.
Thank you so much, PS, Block Government. At this juncture, allow me to invite Mr. President to make his remarks. Mr. President, sir.
Thank you very much, moderator of the meeting. Let me start by recognizing all our dear colleagues through the chair, the artists that are here. I understand that we could be around 75. So thereabout, we are grateful that you are present here in this your State House. This is the people's State House. This is your State House. And you're truly welcome here. It's long overdue. We've taken a bit of time, but we were settling in to get a handle of your country, which had gotten off the rails by the time we took office in 2021. The country certainly was in a scatter situation. So we have now stabilized, we believe. We have brought normalcy back to the country. And as you know, today you can wear any T-shirt which is red or any color, and no one will attack you as it used to be. So I think this is the right time for us to have the meeting. My dear colleagues, let me recognize the Minister, SME, the Minister Lusaka Province that is here, my colleagues from State House, permanent secretaries, and indeed other government officials that may be here, DC. You're welcome to this your State House. I wish to thank the coordinator of this meeting, moderator, for organizing this meeting. Mwagwira nchito ngako baba. Because these are our friends. They've been our friends in difficult times, when some musicians could not even utter a word, HH. They couldn't, for many reasons. Maybe they didn't support us. Maybe they were scared. Those days, remember. Just to be heard to be talking about HH or UPND, it was a passport for you to be lynched. Memories fade very quickly in this country. So, but you were able to do what others were scared to do. So your friends, your true friends. I remember Pilato in the early days would have a function in the showgrounds there. He would only be probably the only musician to come and sing for the UPND function, because it was scary to do so. And many of you later gathered courage. Some actually had the courage, but maybe they didn't have the publicity. Many of you gathered the courage to sing, to support this vision, the UPND vision, for many years. Many of you got traumatized, targeted negatively. Some of you spent a couple of days in the cells joining me in the cells, because me, I was a cell bed, eh? In, out, in, out, in, out. So there is no one you can call a friend, a true friend, more than he or she who, when it was hot, when it was difficult, was available. So I want to thank all of you, my dear colleagues, artists. I want to thank your families. We thank your families, because resistance starts in the family, right there in the family. Here, why we imba nyimbo va UPND? HH wa mensi aza kumenyesa menyewa. Sanga wine. Ola wina siwaza mpasa. Zijonjo? That's what they used to tell you. Abena kopa leko muli. Abena kopa leko muli.
Karibu wangu. Makuchu.
Mwale mwenepe vale tupuma kulia. Ngatuwaisa kulia ninkondo. Yes. To a point where somebody got convinced that they would hand over power to themselves. And that once they do that, their first act will be to arrest this HH. And this time he will die in prison. People forget quickly, isn't it? Always being pretentious. That is one set of my thank you to you, our thank you to you. Your courage, your resilience, standing in harm's way. But my second thank you is anchored around your talent. Just your talent. The talent God gave you. The intellect God gave you. To be an artist, you must have a good, organized brain to produce a piece that will be appreciated by people out there. You exhibit a lot of intelligence. The music that you produced, I must tell you, sometimes my wife used to say, this is a dangerous thing you're doing. I'll play one song for her. Talk. Very strong woman, very supportive, very courageous. But she would just remind me that be aware what you're doing is a dangerous business. I said, I am aware, but someone has to do it. It happens to be us. And we accept what comes with that territory. But playing a song to her, Baleya, Nangutavale Fire. Once you put that song, you find her dancing. Kavman, please. You worked very hard. All of you here. We need to clap for all these people. All of you, our family, everybody, solo singers, groups, local languages, Samfya, Jomaman, anywhere, everywhere, Eastern, as Levy said, Western, Northern, Southern, Central, music was coming out. And I must tell you, guys, we used to move in the night because every time we moved, we were blocked. So we defined a method of moving in the night. And we used to play your music. And that gave us courage, energy to carry on. So thank you for that. Thank you so much. Another angle of thanking you, your music sent the message, encouraged people under a brutal regime. People forget how they brutalize citizens. And when they say, I said, what? To come and do what? To continue the lynching. So people gathered courage. You campaigned through your music. We campaigned using your music. You campaigned through your music. You gave people courage. And you and the 2.8 million people plus, I say plus because I know other votes were nicked away, turned out on that day, in that month, in 2021, to vote for change, for UPND, councillors, members of parliament, council chairpersons, mayors, and this fellow speaking here, the president. It would have been very, very difficult. And thank you for encouraging people to vote. Thank you for voting yourselves. Thank you so much. We do not take your vote, your confidence for granted. And we're happy that today we can discuss formally in this manner, in this your State House, how your government, your own product can support you on this side of the struggle. As you supported on this side of the struggle, we must continue to work as friends, and we support you, you support each other on this side of the struggle. Because the struggle continues, it just changes form. Now we have to better the country. Rule of law. So you can do what you need to do without being lynched. The Lusaka guys know, every day you went in Kulima Town, if you are UPND, you are known. Mlopa, Spangas, Plant, Intercity there. Just to use that bus stop, you couldn't. If you were coming from outside Lusaka from another province, they just stop there listening, the bus is offloading, they listen to a language. You speak certain languages, Chakwa Echechi. The country was divided. But today we're talking about law and order, normalcy. It's part of this side of the struggle to bring order in the country. Today we can talk about free education, which was a pipe dream, isn't it? Akasanga kwizo lupia alilanda pali free education lupia tapali. Priorities. Now our children can go to school. Our Navanshiwa can go to school. We seated here, we have a relative who is going to school free of charge. Is that not true? Who has no relative going to school here, free of charge? We all have, isn't it? That is what your government was fighting for. Today, we can talk about our children sitting on desks, in schools. That is the struggle and deliver on this side. When I say this side, I mean the flip side, after winning, isn't it? Tilo mfana wina. Muli kumvela? Muli kutika? Muli nterele? So this is the continuation of the struggle to deliver for the people. Today, you can talk of meal allowances at Unza. Thank you, Chair, for the statement you gave. Very concise, but very poised. Today, we can talk about retirees being paid. Amongst us here, we have retirees who were camping at the Ministry of Finance, even in the rain. They used to conduct prayers there. Since your government came into office, we've been able to clear a 20-year backlog. If you go 20 years back, it means MMD, PF. And some came from UNIP days. Your government so far has cleared all. If you know any retiree who has not been paid, through your association, send a message and details that this retiree has not been paid, and he worked for government. You may find the one who says has not been paid did not work for government, worked for another organization. That's a different matter, but we'll still look into it. But for the government workers, that is what your songs were for, to deliver for the people. Mulekutika? Sana? Today, we can talk about NAPSA 20%. And when we talked about it, people said, how come Bachani it has never happened. Other countries are now copying. I won't mention their names. Even in this region, they are copying what your UPND government has done. Partial withdrawal, so that people can invest. And I've been advising people, don't go and buy an expensive car with the NAPSA 20% partial withdrawal. Invest. We're working to change the attitude and minds of the people, not consumption. And that's my advice to you artists. The time you work and you make money, don't consume all of it. Some of it, invest. Kanganda, Tungombe, Samka business. That's how real life works. Mwebananti, Anzanga. Invest something. That's our encouragement to the people of Zambia, because they were used to consumption. Ubomba muibala, alia muibala, no savings, and they want to continue kuria from muibala. But there are other people that need to access opportunities. Today, we can talk about a child in a constituency, Mpande, deep Chama North, Shango, who was going to school, secondary school, but came out of school because the parents had no money to sponsor at secondary school. Today, the CDF supports all our children in any part of the country who are in boarding school. And the decision will be made right in that constituency, not in Lusaka. Never done before in this country. Because education is key. It's investment. For you to play your notes well, to kulikuziba poka, kuliskila. The PS local government talked about skills I was hoping he would go further to say what skills. Kale, you finished school, you didn't get a distinction, you didn't get this, you didn't go to university, you didn't get a bursary, you didn't go to teacher training college, you sat at home. Under your government, we provided for skills training. Even for those with 1 O level, 2 O levels, 3 O levels. Certain colleges, you need 5 or 6 O levels and credit and above. Now we are saying, what about this group? Are they not Zambians? They are Zambians. So now they can go to trade schools, they can go to artisanal schools in all the parts of Zambia to train. You are tired, eh? Somebody who is tired. To train in one Zambia. Let's work together. One Zambia, one nation, one people. One Zambia, one nation. We need to love each other in totality. No segregation. That's why I was very happy when I heard your names and which parts of the country you're coming. I was beaming inside with happiness. I said, you represent Zambia here. You represent Zambia here. And I go around the country, I go to Sesheke, I find our young people, our young people are happy, beaming with happiness that they've been at home 5, 6 years since they left school. They've not been calling. Now they are training as carpenters. They are training, that's the point I wanted to make, PS, local government. They are training as plumbers. They are training as welders. They are training as mechanics. Life skills, which even musicians like yourselves, because some of you are still young, you can still train and still do your music, isn't it? But it's good because when you train as a bricklayer, don't demean those skills. No. I can't, man. All skills are relevant in the economy. You want to build a classroom to get a contract. At least if you have the skill, you understand when you employ others how to manage them, isn't it? So you can still take up those skills and your government is paying for those skills training. And when you graduate, you will have your record, your names in the database, and when they're looking for a carpenter, a welder, they're looking for someone to roof a house, they'll remember you and call you to say, there's a contract here, there's a subcontract here, and 3 of you, 4 of you, 5 of you can come together and take a contract. You are talking of being entrepreneurs. We walk different paths, but we're looking for something better for our families. After I left university myself, I got a job. As a graduate, I was paid 600 kwacha per month. After 3 months, I bought a plot in Kalingalinga. There, we used to call it Kuchimunzi when we were students at university. Kuchimunzi. So I told my friends, guys, I bought a plot. I'll be building soon. They said, where? I said, Kalingalinga. I said, you. How can you buy a plot in Kalingalinga? Then I said, this guy is a fool. You have no plot. Me, I have a plot. And you are laughing at me. And I built that house in Kalingalinga. It was my first house. It's still standing there. And I was only building during weekends because I couldn't afford a builder and a bricklayer. Sorry, a darker boy and a bricklayer. So we would build only on weekends after church. My bricklayer and myself, and I was the darker boy. If you ask me to help me on your plot to mix cement, I'll do it for you, because I know it. I was not ashamed. The problem with young people, you are ashamed of doing what is necessary. Ati bazaniseka bandani. Should be proud. So that was my first house. I couldn't finish it. Money was not enough. Then I got a plan. I looked for a customer. I sold it for 200-300% profit. I bought a plot in Libala and built there. The rest is history. I'm trying to send a message to yourselves. Use the opportunities. Sometimes they're small opportunities, sometimes they're medium-sized, sometimes they're big. Your government will work hard to support you. It's your government. You produced us. We work for you. When Levi was saying, you have met a king, I quickly said, no, you have met your servant. I'm your servant. These are your servants, these ministers, these PSs. They would have never been ministers. Especially Vamubanga, he's a nominated MP, he would have never been. One Zambia, one nation. Use your artistic voices. One Zambia, one nation, one people. Twalumba, twataizya, twasalifya, tawonga chomene, twatotela, vitume za hulu. So, PSs, Avena Pilato, you would have never been PS without these people and their music. Kangwa, Avena Mutero. They were more like Avena Ngoma bamanje basebenza mu State House, presidential advisor, all the way from Sinda in Eastern Province, presidential advisor. It is because of your music, so we respect you. All these guys at State House. Sometimes I remind them, don't forget where you are coming from. Lungu.
Mr. President, you remind us all the time.
This is how much we value. But I said the struggle continues. Phase 1, phase 2. Really, we must see things in the right context. I can go on and on. We found the economy at minus 2.8%. In 2 years, we brought it to 4%. If you add numbers properly, I don't want to bore you with numbers. Musicians sometimes don't like numbers. It means we've grown by over 6%. You are not seeing it now, you will see it shortly. Nkongole, we found tap Nkongole. Now we are working very hard to get the debt restructured. Why? Because it's standing in the way of the resource envelope that could be available to you and to other citizens. Why? This story is an important story. This journey is an important journey. And I use the opportunity to when we meet people like you, to share it. So you can see where we are going. And so you can develop your artistic talent, your creative mind to say, what song am I going to do now? Because this is how my government is moving, isn't it? And I was listening to you reciting your songs. I said, Kubagalo bagaitu. Baume. Abanakash. Bakali. So, because of this story, where we were, difficulties we had, crossing over to this side, story continues, your music and your creativeness must continue. Don't slow down. Don't slow down. Mlekutika. So now my colleagues have articulated, we're going far. This country is going far. This country is in safe hands now. I know it's painful to change from, tantamen, kasamthing, hand to mouth. That's why the economy went down. That's why we defaulted in debt. Nkongole. Ngati wakongola ndalama kuli neighbor, apinda ati kulibe. Si utakupoka nyumba ngati ni yako.
Once we are done with the debt restructuring,
You will see the benefits. It will be easier, even to do more than what we have done. So my colleagues have talked, ministers, small, medium enterprises, what we can offer. My colleagues have spoken in sports, youth and sports, local government. I must say to you, there are many other ministries that are not represented here, which have facilities that we have not talked about. I know there's a comment on agriculture from the SME minister, but there's a lot more there. The credit window. Even if you irrigated just half a hectare, 1 hectare, and you produce 9 tons of maize, 9 tons of another crop in 1 year, you'll be surprised how much money you make. Benangu mulina tuma small holding twaba mama, atate, or twanu. One of the things myself I'm looking at to support these people who have small pieces of land to sink a borehole, tank stand, a tank, and solar pump, and then where you live while you still do your music in Pande. The price is good now. The facility is there. You don't have to stop what you're doing. You can employ 1 or 2 nephews, isn't it? That's a job. That is what we should do, SME minister. It's not just to impose on people. Also do a business you love, do a business that you understand. If you don't love a business, it doesn't work. I hear many people, good, very good. They say, no, I want to be like a church. I want to have cattle. If you have no love for cattle, it doesn't work. You have to love the cattle. There was a time I donated a few animals to some of you seated in this room. And a week later, I heard, no, I bought a heifer from you. Which heifer did you buy? The one you gave that musician, he sold it to me. Agulisa hapa. Ninampasa mbeo. Eva agulisa, aje mbeo. Nembuto kulira pamwe. But I am giving you encouragement here. I'm giving you encouragement. So there are other ministries that are not here. That levy should be brought to the table. After this meeting, we'll agree how we proceed. In this meeting, we should agree how we proceed. What has been said by these ministers, I want to see it in summary form in writing. We can't use memory only. And the PS is here. You have to write in summary facilities available for these colleagues. And levy, we consolidate it with other ministries that are not here. We put a full matrix. Okay. One Zambia, one nation, one people, isn't it? God is great. God is good. Because that's his nature, isn't it? He put us together as one people. And in all these things we're talking about, we don't want to see segregation. An artist comes from Zambia must be given the same attention as an artist from the Copper Belt, an artist from Central, from Eastern, from Western, from Southern. Same attention, same opportunity. No segregation. We are a gift from God. This diversity you see. And many times people want to look at the differences. Flip the coin. Look at the commonalities. Do you ask for ethnic stuff? You just say beauty and say, we win. Ala senda. Wa senda. Mafia na tell you. So you guys are young. Don't follow the old folks who parrot segregation in this country. That era is dying out. That's why you were able to vote the way you wanted this time. Some believe that ethnicity will save them. We're one people. So I want to emphasize to these ministers, treat all these people equally, fairly, equitably when they visit your offices, PSs. Even those who can't speak English, let them come to office and speak their language. Anyone can speak their language, they don't have to speak English, and an interpreter will be there. I like what I've heard from some of you. If the project idea is not refined enough, I'm glad SME, you have a department that will help these people to put the project proposal properly. This is part of the support that they must get. David, Imbo? So I am saying, we levy ministers who are here, PSCs, from here, I want us to have a summaries of the opportunities available in SME minister, opportunities available in Ministry of Sports, opportunities available in local government, in writing in summary form, in agriculture, right? In community development. There are facilities there. There is fertilizer and seed there. Quite a bit of it, Levy, you are aware of, in community development. All these we put together in a small summary. Then we distribute to our colleagues. I hope you have an association, Chairman. Is it a proper association or Nyapa Kamachad? Iriko. Ngasiri proper, mupange proper associations. Artists association or cooperative. Don't fear the name cooperative. That's why you are left behind. Your colleagues are drawing facilities. Most of you will say, fianshifi, develop PFA. No, it's got to be structured. So, if it's not registered properly, let's assist them to register it properly. Me, I'll pay all the registration fees anyway. Then, what is within government, we summarize. What is in parastatus? There are parastatus, we summarize. What is in other organizations such as UN systems? In this country, there are a lot of opportunities there, even for talent development, for connections. Let's summarize those levels. This president wants to work in an organized way, in a methodical way. When we started saying that, the opposition was saying, Anna Maboza, if you look what we've done in 2 years, some parties failed to do in 10 years. What we've done in just 2 years, being organized. So we summarize UN, SME, you should have partnerships, youth and sport with other organizations. Let's bring those in the summary as well. This section is direct government opportunities. This section is parastatus. This section is NGOs. This section is the UN system. And we create that, summarize it, put it together, and say to these colleagues, these are the opportunities. Which one are you interested in? Then we don't end there. We now have a small unit, I think it's better under SME or youth, which will handhold them now. to assist them how to get those opportunities. You can't expect these colleagues to write proposals. They are not designed for that. They are good musicians. God talents us differently, David. So, but we must pull our talents together. So, when you do that summary, it should include the training facilities that are there. Please, ministers, PSs, mainly PSs, because that's your job. That's why this employed you and me. These are our bosses. So, include a section on training opportunities. And I think I want to suggest a few other things. If you are structured, when you are structured, I want to hear how you record your music. Where do you go to record your music? Just a quick answer. Where do you record your music? Okay, how do you record your music? Where do you go to record your music? Studios. So, why can't we create an opportunity, a studio for these guys? What does it cost to create a studio? Some of us would like to contribute towards the creation of a studio owned by yourselves. And then you can record at a fair price, very small price, or someone records, then when the music goes out, they earn a bit of money, they'll come and pay. The reason is you don't pay for the money to go anywhere. It stays with yourselves. I make that suggestion. Common user equipment. I'm just thinking on my feet. Havena Chisenga. Hello? Hello there? Common user equipment. I think, Pilato, you talked about the challenges you went through. Havena Chamafumba. One time we had to escape him out of this country, that one. And we had to hide him somewhere. I won't say where. Those were bad days. Those were bad days. Now we are free. Me, colleagues, just the freedom that I can sleep in my house and no one comes to break my house at 01. No one throws stones at my house. I am already satisfied. The rest is a bonus for me. And I think for many people. You see, business you do on your own, you go to the market, no one will lynch you. But also don't give up opportunities in the markets. When we say we don't want cadreism in the market, we are not saying UP&D aligned people cannot do business in the market. You should be able to do business in the market. What we don't want is beating people in the markets. So don't misunderstand us. What we don't want is grabbing money from a widow in the market. Akatenga box ya tomato ali tena ti box ni yangu. Bakare. That I know you know we don't support. But even in the market, there are businesses that are thriving there. Barber shop in the market. Don't always think of big businesses. I told you my first house was in Kalingalini. So people who don't know my history say, how did he get where he lives? Kale tuambile. Avena kopala, tu understand? Kale tu understand? Wakalam. Tambira kalamba, tambira. Wakalam. Zambia? One Zambia. One Zambia. One nation. So, I am saying, barber shops. Someone would like to run a barber shop while you do other things. Employ 1 or 2 people. Don't think of only you sitting there. Someone wants to run a salon. Stylists. It's associated with art, isn't it? So why don't you do that? These are businesses that are easy to run. Someone wants to run a restaurant in the market. I'm sharing views here. We start from low levels. First time I came to Lusaka myself was when I was going to University of Zambia. National service after school. Then, after results were out, came to Lusaka. I was being taught how to cross Cairo Road. Iwe, chumpabu ino chintu cha kumonzi, ikupunga motoka. Today I'm seated here. We start from small, humble backgrounds, humble beginnings. I think that's what you musicians, artists must be looking at. Don't look at someone driving a Beamer. We walk different paths, but our duty is to look after our children, ourselves and our children. So I'm saying we must assist these colleagues also look at opportunities in a different way. Small capital, to open a salon, to open a barber shop is not too much money. It's doable. So, there's somewhere I'm going, and you see where I'm going, why I'm raising these issues. Studio levy. They will tell us now how best to structure that. What does a studio cost? Pilato. So we work out the numbers. Then we come back to each other. Will others access the studio? There's an issue of distance. From Zambia, is it easy to record in Lusaka? Can we do a mirror studios, a mirror by region, maybe northern area, maybe Lusaka, Midlands, maybe southern or western area? That's detail now. But the idea is that we can make those things happen. Me, I put my hand that I'll be one of the contributors for such a proposal. We can also create that from the funds that are there under community development, isn't it? Under CDF, the grant element. We can decide. SME, that's the versatility I'm looking for. That's the ingeniousness I'm looking for. PSs. Let's not be flat. DC, you're surprised I'm talking this language. I talked about training. Don't shun training. Some of you are still young. When you want training, 1, 2 of you, we make it happen. You can even train on how to manage equipment, musical equipment, different training facilities, right? You can run a workshop. You can run a workshop while, Oga family as a team, you can run a workshop. Yeah? Jobs, I think my colleagues have talked about. There's some jobs. Others are getting jobs. We can continue on that search. But the way life is, let me tell you my own example. I started working for myself when I was 27 years old. If I started again, you made me younger, I'll start working for myself when I'm 22. Immediately after school, I'll work for myself. People are talented differently. Yeah? But some need a job. So be it. So now, Chair, we need now to have submissions that this one of our members, this one is looking for a job. What is their qualification? What their skills? Yeah? That information then comes to this side so that we can match. These meetings don't happen every now and then, isn't it? So me, I'm taking advantage to say, because I observe you guys, I see what you post on social media, I say, now, these friends, there are things that can happen. Right. I'm thinking, Levy, these colleagues, I think somebody talked of NAPSA contributions. Who talked of NAPSA contribution? Why is not out of the ordinary we can have a medical scheme for this? A medical scheme. Do they have one?
The same cover does cover a medical scheme for the artists.
Fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
So in the association, if there is a shortage of subscriptions, we could also pool funds together to make subscriptions for others to have a policy, insurance, and medical. Isn't it? I haven't forgotten. We need to look at how we can sponsor some of these, attach them to different places to further their talent. I think that Minister of Youth and Sports we can do. We can even budget in the national budget. We have a bit of influence there. There are some musical schools around the world. How do we choose this one or that one or that one? I am suggesting something here. Why don't we have a musical festival for these people and some competition? Then the one Zambia, one nation, and then the winner, number 1, number 2, number 3 this year, we sponsor them. Because that way we will not be accused of segregation, isn't it? So you plan it with yourself, youth and sport. Every year we can have a musical festival. We can organize it nationally or by province, where we say by province, and number 1 and number 2 in each province. So it means 20 people per year, we sponsor them. Let us be innovative. So finally, I can go on because for me, my brain runs quite this way, that way, this way, this way. So, but I'm only giving you to Diongo here. You can now sit properly and think through what did the HH say? Do we like what he said? If you like what I've said, you can develop it further now. But for all this to happen, we need to have an organized way of working. This structure, chair, must be reinforced properly. Chairman, secretary, treasurer, committee members, because certain decisions you have to make and debate on your own. Not the government, on your own you debate. And then you make a decision, we will support. Davion, I also want to suggest, Levy, when we travel around, once in a while, I want to travel to one of these guys. Yes. This trip, okay, someone from Zambia. This trip, someone from Lusaka. This trip, someone from Kumies Ukopara. I think that is part of us getting to know each other better. The role you put me here, it comes with some little bit of influence, so we can influence those issues. So can we itemize this issue so that we can deliberately and selectively say, this time the president is going this one, 1, 2, 3, we join the presidents into arrangement. In Kosa, they say, kukuhamba kukubona. Meaning traveling teaches you a lot. Mwana oshenda. You open your eyes. I must tell you that one thing I'm very appreciative that when I left UNZA, I went to work for a firm which exposed me, and I'm so grateful to that firm because it took me everywhere. This traveling I'm doing, I started at a very early age. Kuala Lumpur, New York, everywhere. You learn a lot. Even now, I tell these guys when you travel, have you seen how they're doing things here? Look at how hard people work here. In Zambia, we want a good life, but we don't want to work. It's not possible. And we learn from each other every day. So, I think I've given you a menu, a sample, in addition to what you have said, colleagues, what they've said, that we can now pull all this together. And I want to suggest that we create a fund we call an artist fund. Which we can get like-minded people, like some of us, and others, to donate money into that fund. How it's used will be a subject of discussion amongst yourselves. But it's not for drawing to eat. It's seed money, such as once we decide the studio costs so much, how many studios we're going to put, we'll say we'll use this seed money to build 3-4 studios. Maybe a super studio in Lusaka, and you are now the specialist, I'm not. So I have no idea what a recording studio will cost. With technology, it's not those days of a big building. Today it's small things, isn't it? You record it. So what sort of environment do you record in? Yes, yes.
Yeah, we don't need those big machines. This time around, building up a studio, you only need maybe 2 monitors, a computer, a MIDI controller, which is the keyboard, the microphone and whatever. I mean, what matters is the equipment that you buy. Like, for example, the sound card and whatever. So it doesn't need that much, equipment, like big things. Like, for example, people think that maybe to build a studio, you need if you must speaker vichavikulu. No. You only need to must speaker triso. And the studio is built, just like that. Technology.
Vintuvi Kinja. Kavman, where do you record from? Arigui, Kavman. Give him a space there. Where do you record from? No, PS, sit. There are other people who can...
No, you can sit.
PS, sit, PS. There are many microphones.
Mr. President, ilingo kuna timokurekodera ni ku Copper Belt den kuno na alikwata producer wandu RT songa ndi kuno kurusa kande kodera kuri RT.
You have a studio.
Thank you so very much, Mr. President. I had a studio, but of late I have nothing left. Some equipments got damaged and the remained ones got stolen. So for now I have nothing.
So when you had it, what did it cost you?
Actually everything altogether, it was costing about 70 or 80 so.
Olimbi aratik to alumbura kola kama pieces, like so that we can understand, like if I'm a studio.
Maybe you know something. What do you think it will cost a studio?
Good studio.
We're not talking of a low level, a good studio.
Yeah, Mr. President, a good studio will cost like a professional studio, it will cost like 150,000.
All right.
So I think what my colleagues are submitting are a simplest form of a studio. So because of where the music quality is and the market base for music, I think we might need a more sophisticated setup so that our music can also be accepted in other jurisdictions. So on the average, I think a good studio, we should be able to budget around 250. So then we can get the state-of-the-art equipment such that if they produce music from Zambia, it can play in South Africa, it can play